Now, all that said, Susan Lee got her first warning of trouble here on Sky News just an hour and a half ago when Chris Kenny talked to Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price. Now, as I said, Price had been running to be the deputy leader to Angus Taylor on a Conservative ticket for the leadership until Taylor lost the leadership vote and she pulled out. She might have worked out that she didn't have the numbers, but then she let Chris and Susan Lee know that she had her eye on the leadership position herself, eventually.
Will you stay in the Senate? Is that your home, or will you look for opportunities to get to the lower house at some stage?
Yeah, look, the Senate is where the biggest battles are going to be fought right now, and I'm geared up for those battles.
Never switching to the lower house?
Look, the Senate is where I'm focused.
David Littleproud was talking about the Nationals not being able to give you the sort of the ambitions, settle the ambitions that you might have. I mean, but you can get to the top of the Nationals and be Deputy Prime Minister. The only job higher than that is Prime Minister. And to be Prime Minister, of course, you need to go to the lower house.
Well, there is that, and I know there's a lot of Australians who'd love to see that.
That's an unhelpful thing to say, really, when unity is needed. And what's more, she actually made pretty clear she wanted the Liberals to keep backing nuclear power and maybe ditch their target of cutting emissions to net zero by 2050.
There's going to be some robust debate around energy, around nuclear. I think there are those of us who are absolutely of the view that we need to stick to nuclear. It's the cleanest, greenest energy that we have.
Does that mean sticking to net zero? Because of the whole basis for going nuclear is to get to net zero.
Yeah, look, I think we need to have all of those conversations on the table as part of a party room conversation.
Will the party unify now behind Susan Lee?
Well, I guess that is the hope.
So there's a problem right there immediately for Susan Lee. Joining me is my regular Tuesday guest, National Senator Matt Canavan, the former Resources Minister. And I should add, Matt also ran for the Nationals leadership yesterday. Never expected to win, but he did want to make it crystal clear the Nationals had to back off the net zero target and not go Labor light on unreliable green energy. And in that, he sure succeeded. Matt Canavan, great to see you again. It also seems you might have succeeded in getting Susan Lee, the new Liberal leader, to back off a bit herself from net zero to avoid a split with your Nationals party. How did you read her comments today?
Well, look, it's mission accomplished for me, Andrew. As you say, I gave myself a pretty long odds to win the leadership. Coming from the Senate was quite the handicap. And for me, it's always not been about who leads the party. I genuinely care about what we're fighting for and how we take up that fight on behalf of the Australian people. I've said ever since this crazy, insane idea of net zero emissions by 2050 had been proposed. It was just absurd at first. I mean, everybody in the coalition called it absurd at the time it first sort of popped up about 6 or 7 years ago. And then when we signed up to it in Glasgow, I just couldn't believe it. We didn't do proper planning on it. There was no proper costing on it. And we just signed up to this rubbish. And it's been now a handbrake on the Australian economy for the last 3 years. Over those 3 years, we've lost our urea industry. It's the most important fertiliser. We've lost our plastics industry. We've lost our nickel industry. We're down to two fuel refineries. One of our last 2 steel mills is on life support and wanting to be saved with massive taxpayer bailouts. I mean, we just can't keep deindustrialising the country like this, particularly at a time like now. We should be investing in our industrial capacity so that we are a country that can defend itself. And so I've just wanted to call this out for a long time. I suppose controlled myself a bit over the past year, Andrew, trying to hope that we would win the election. But I suppose I got all that pent up frustration right now because I think Australia's being dudded with its obsession to net zero emissions. It's costing us a fortune, and the sooner we get off this, the better it will be for our whole country.
So how real is the threat of the Nationals splitting from the Liberals on this issue? You can't go in a coalition to an election with one group saying net zero and the other group saying no. It's such a fundamental divide.
Hard for me to say, Andrew, in terms of that, because I don't exactly know where it will fall in our party. I don't know where it will fall in the Liberals party. There have been other models of relationship between the Liberal and National parties at the state level where there are policy disagreements. There's still cooperation at times. So, it's not it's not just black and white in that regard in terms of the agreement between the parties. But look, what I'm focused on right now is having that debate. I'm very glad that both, and congratulations to both David Littleproud and Susan Ley for being elected leaders of these two great parties. I'm very glad that both of them have said, look, we're open to considering dumping net zero as a policy. I mean, this policy hasn't worked for us electorally. That was, I suppose, the promise we were given. We had to sign up to it so we could win. Well, that didn't work. So what have we got to lose now? Let's have a crack and actually fight for what we believe in and get rid of this stuff. So to all those Liberal and National members out there and supporters out there, contact your local MP now. Maybe join up to the Nationals Party. We're having this debate. Join up and get involved and have your say. And tell your elected representatives that they should be there to represent you. They should be there to fight for you, because I know so many Liberal and National supporters are sick of this rubbish, sick of towing the line to these woke left insane policies. Why don't we just stand up and fight? It's a lot more fun when you do that, and I reckon you've got a lot more chance with conviction in politics of being successful too.
Listening to Susan Ley today in her first press conference, what did you make of what she said? Were there things that alarmed you a bit, things that reassured you? What did you take out of it?
Look, I actually didn't get to see much of it. Sorry, I've been on a plane and then I've been given the dad duties of taking kids to soccer training, basketball games and the like, and I haven't seen it all. I've probably most of it I've heard is what you've just played there in your show. And look, I think a lot of that sounded pretty good from Susan. I wish her all the best. Look, it's going to be a long road now, though, to the next election. I think the number one focus is we first sit down, listen to the people, listen to the whole Australian people, but especially our members and supporters. They're hurting right now. Listen to them, work out what we're going to fight for at the next election, and then just fight like hell.
Now, Matt Canavan, the Australian Financial Review, look, to me it seems to have gone more and more left-wing, odd for a business magazine paper, since Michael Stutchbury quit as editor-in-chief. Yesterday it had an ill-informed editorial attacking Sky News. Today the paper ran this cartoon of you as some coal-eating troglodyte and attacked what it calls your anti-net zero populism and said the Liberals needed to move on from nuclear to a more rational approach to the so-called energy transition, by which it actually means Labor's plan for wind and solar power backed by batteries and gas-fired plants. Your response?
Well, look, that's actually one of my favourite cartoons, Andrew. That's actually an old one, I think, so it might have been under Stutch's regime. That one published, they've republished it today, but they had a massive screed, massive hit at the Nationals Party today, so feel yourself in good company. You were hit yesterday, we were hit today, and I've got a response to it. It's already up online, so I give the AFR credit for publishing that. You can find it on my X feed if you'd like to read it. And look, I just worry here that perhaps the biggest problem we've got in our country is that anybody that suggests that maybe we should do something a bit different is instantaneously berated as some kind of fool when, hang on, I mean, we've just had productivity decline by 5.7% in the first term of the Albanese government. We've had government bond rates grow by five times, and we're at risk of losing our AAA credit rating. Our real wages have gone back a decade. People are now earning the same amount in real terms as they did more than 10 years ago. Maybe it's time to think about what are the changes we need to get going again, get this country to be a lucky country again. And when you read the AFR editorials, it's like they seem to suggest that, look, all we need to do, Andrew, is just do another AFR Energy Summit. Let's just have another CSIRO report, or maybe we just have another conversation about tax reform in some vague and academic fashion, and that will fix everything. I mean, how is that? How is any of those points going to save the 500 jobs we look like we're going to lose now at the Dyno Noble fertiliser plant near Mount Isa? 500 jobs. Down the drain.
I'm going to talk about that in a second.
Power prices are through the roof in this country, and we were told net zero was going to reduce them.
Well, apparently the answer, Matt Canavan, is to do even more of the same that's got us into this pickle. So you figured that one out. Matt Canavan, thank you so much for your time.